Do you wish to write characters like Shuri from Black Panther, Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist, or other memorable characters like them? If so, you'll want to get familiar with the Enneagram 5 personality. Type 5s are your classic intellectual powerhouses, hence the name, the investigators. Think of them as people who can't resist diving headfirst into a problem, picking it apart, and figuring out every little detail, because nothing is more terrifying to them than not knowing or feeling incompetent. If you have a plot or genre that demands curiosity, logic, and the thirst for mastery, you can almost bet a Type 5 will pop up somewhere. And if they don't, maybe they're just hanging out in the background reading up on how to show up. So why are they like this? Simple. It's all about what drives them. Type 5s live for knowledge. They need to feel competent and capable. Their biggest fear? Being overwhelmed by the world, or, even worse, feeling useless. And what's their solution? Accumulate more knowledge. Store it. Keep it locked up in their brain like a dragon hoarding treasure. And along the way, they might pull away from emotions and people, because to them, emotional stuff is draining. Why deal with messy feelings when you can just read a book, right? Now, this can make them seem a bit distant, maybe even cold. But it's not like they don't care. They just don't want to get bogged down in emotions that they can't control or understand. It's all about staying in control, feeling safe in their knowledge cocoon. And this can lead them to think stuff like, I'm only valuable if I have something to offer, or I'll never know enough, and the classic, the world is just too much, so I better stay independent. They believe that if they can just figure out everything, they'll be safe. But of course, that's not how life works. So, what's the growth path of Type 5? First, they need to start engaging more emotionally. Yes, feelings matter. They got to learn that no amount of info will make the chaos of life go away. And, here's the kicker, they need to realize that hoarding all this knowledge and energy for themselves isn't the answer. Connecting with others, trusting they've got what it takes to handle challenges, even if they don't have every bit of data, that's where the real growth happens. And of course, letting go of the idea that they have to be fully prepared all the time. That's a hard one. They've got to believe that they can tackle life's problems as they come, without locking themselves away to figure it all out first. If they can do that, they'll stop feeling so drained by the world and might even open up a bit more to those around them. So yeah, Type 5s might come off as the lone genius, but underneath, they're just trying to stay afloat like everyone else. Now, if a Type 5 can pull this off, if they can reach their full potential, they transform into what we like to call the Explorer. And no, not the Indiana Jones kind. We're talking about someone who takes all the precious knowledge that they've been hoarding and actually shares it with the world. At their best, Type 5s become merciful, versatile, and more importantly, honest. They stop locking everything in their brain vault and start using their genius for the good of others. And, get this, they actually encourage people to have their own opinions, without jumping in to correct them every 5 minutes. Judgment? Nah, that's gone. Now they're all about empathy and respecting others' perspectives. Who would have thought, right? Their transformation isn't just about being smarter. It's about connecting. They go from lone wolves to team players, finding joy in friendships, commitments, and just generally being part of the human race. They realize that happiness isn't some solo mission and start sharing themselves with others. The best part? They trade that private stash of knowledge and energy for open generosity, finally embracing the fact that working with people is far more satisfying than doing it all alone. Of course, not every Type 5 hits their peak. There's a reason we see a lot of Type 5 villains in fiction. These guys can be some of the most calculating characters around. Instead of solving problems for the greater good, they're more about outsmarting everyone around them. And they'll go to some seriously dark places to feel secure or avoid being overwhelmed. Type 5s tend to be marked by their emotional detachment and obsession with control. They manipulate, hoard knowledge, and can even be outright cold when it comes to achieving their goals. They're not above pulling all kinds of strings behind the scenes, and trust me, they'll have 10 backup plans ready to go. Oh, and if you've ever heard a villain rant about how people are too irrational or emotional, you've probably met a dark Type 5. So what drives them? That classic fear of being helpless or incompetent. They'll do anything to stay in control, and their downfall usually comes when they push everyone away, or get outplayed by someone they underestimated. Because at the end of the day, no one likes a know-it-all who can't share the sandbox. So there you have it. Type 5s make for brilliant heroes, shilling villains, and everything in between. I'm sure you've thought of a few characters already. Let me know who they are in the comments below. And if you want more Enneagram breakdowns of your fictional favorites, I've got a whole playlist ready for you right here.